All right. Sorry about that, y'all. I had to get my facts straight, so I had to jump off. I had to switch apps real quick to get my facts straight. Welcome to my IG Live. Some of you may know me. I'm Lupe Fiasco. I'm in work mode, so in between work mode. So I need to get my hair done. I need to get a trim on my trim. But I've been working in work mode, and I wanted to get everybody caught up. I know it can be kind of difficult to catch up on the latest and greatest of Lupe Fiasco news and what I do. And I just want to kind of take the opportunity for this with this particular live and let you guys straight from the horse's mouth, my mouth, to your ears about what's coming up over the next looks like this month, the rest of this month, and maybe even some stuff that's coming up into next month. So just want to do that because I know it's kind of different. It'd be all over the place, and you might just see random things pop up. And even for me, sometimes it's kind of crazy. So I got everything together about what's going to happen. This isn't a super facts, but if y'all have an interesting question, maybe at the end of this, I'll give you my super fact advice, which is award winning. So anyway, let's get into it super quick. So it's Lupe Fiasco concert season coming up right now, and for you all who don't know, if you want to know all of my concerts and what I'm doing on the tour front, whether it be festivals or walkthroughs or mini shows or college dates or whatever, quinceañeras, go to lupefiasco.com. Hey Faja, what's up, Khadijah? Go to lupefiasco.com. All right, and at lupefiasco.com you can get all. It's on the first page. It take you to all the tour dates that are coming up that are solid. That you can get tickets there. You can buy the tickets if you click the link. It'll take you directly to where to get the tickets. So you don't have to hit me up on Twitter a million times or hit me in the DMs a million times. Ask me about tour dates. You can just go to lupefiasco.com. And it'll be stuff that's on there even before it gets posted up on Twitter or maybe gets announced. For everybody that's waiting on us to come to overseas, we're still putting all that together. We had to switch booking agents and did a bunch of other kind of crazy stuff. So we're just getting everything in line to start hitting up overseas. Everybody that was kind of waiting on that Australia tour that we were supposed to do in January, it got rescheduled. So we'll have information. But no matter what I say or no matter what you think or what you hear, if it ain't on lupefiasco.com, it's probably not legitimate. So that's where you should go to get your information. And even then, things might change. So stay tuned to lupefiasco.com for all that kind of concert information. So, but I want to give you the concerts that are coming up now. So on March 18th, I'm going to be in San Juan, Puerto Rico at the Power to the People Festival. To get information about that, you can go to lottery.com/Power to the People. For what I understand, it's a benefit concert, a festival actually, for hurricane relief and ongoing efforts out there in the lovely place that is Puerto Rico. So it'll be in San Juan, March 18th. So that's this Saturday, I think. And it's the Power to the People concert benefit thing. There's a ton of people. And if you want to get more information about that, you can go to lottery.com/Power to the People. And also, I think it might be the day of the concert where you can donate via text. I think they're going to stream the concert, so wherever you are, you can watch it. So if you're not in Puerto Rico or you're in wherever, I think that you can watch it. But again, I don't know. I'm just a lowly performer amongst many performers. But go to lottery.com, Power to the People, to get information on that. If you're in Puerto Rico or if you're outside of Puerto Rico and you want to know what's going on. After that, I'll be in Hawaii. That's in Honolulu, March 24th. at the Aloha Tower. So if you're in Hawaii, if you're in Honolulu, if you're in Maui, if you're in Guam, if you're in Tokyo, if you're wherever, if you're in LA and you want to make the trip, I'll be out there with Twista. Shout out to Twista, Chicago legend. We'll be performing at the Aloha Tower in Honolulu. And if you want more information about that and to get tickets, you go to tantric.net, TANTRIQ.net, and get that information about tickets and all that stuff, times and all of that good stuff. After that, on March 30th, I'll be in Lynchburg, Virginia, at Phase 2. And then again, you can go to lupefiasco.com to get the ticket information for that. And then the very next day, March 31st, I'll be in Asheville, North Carolina, at Salvage Station. So if you want information on those two concerts, any of these concerts, make sure you go to lupefiasco.com. So again, I'll be in Honolulu, Hawaii, throwing down, March 24th, with Twista at the Aloha Tower. March 18th, I'll be in San Juan, Puerto Rico, at the Power to the People concert. March 30th, I'll be in Lynchburg, Virginia at Phase 2. And March 31st, I'll be in Asheville, North Carolina at Salvage Station. And we are currently putting together more concert dates and more tour dates. So stuff will be coming up and coming in kind of every day. So as we get the information and put it together and make sure that it's valid and all the contracts and everything are signed, we'll put it up on lupefiasco.com. So there'll be more and more shows through the rest of the year. So just kind of hang tight and bear with us and bear with me as we put it together and make it make sense for y'all. So that's it with the concerts. Next thing is Beaten Path, my TV show, yay, which I have, is currently on Kicks Asia. Now, for everybody that's out there in Asia or tuned in to that piece, and when I say Asia, I'm saying Southeast Asia, so like Thailand and Malaysia and Singapore and Vietnam and Hong Kong, whereas Indonesia, Kicks Asia is available, the network and the channel, Kicks or Kicks HD, so you can check your local listings for Kicks Asia, KIX, or Kicks HD, to see if Beaten Path is available. But if it is and you already have it and you know it, it's every Thursday at 9 p.m. Right? So the second episode, I think, aired last night. There'll be another episode next week. Again, that airs every Thursday at 9 p.m. And if you want more information about Beaten Path, make sure you follow Lupe Fiasco BNP. That's the letter BNP. Either on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. And you get all the information for Beaten Path. It's a dope show. Hope you like it. And it's airing, premiering now in Asia on Kicks Asia, Kicks HD. Now, for everybody that's been hitting us up about Beaten Path in the States or in the rest of the world, we're working on distribution right now as we speak. Right now, and so hopefully, eventually, we'll have a distribution in place where you guys be able to watch it here in the States. It'll premiere here. So don't feel that you need to try and hack the internet or get tickets, buy plane tickets to just go see to go to Malaysia or Kuala Lumpur to check out the Beaten Path show. It will be coming to the States and everywhere else in the world as well really soon. So we'll be letting you know. But again, to stay up to date on that, follow Lupe Fiasco Lupe Fiasco BNP, the letter BNP, Beaten Path, on Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter. And you get behind the scenes and information and air dates and stuff like that, and we'll keep you up to date on everything. All right. So that's for Beaten Path. For everybody that's seen the show, I would love to know what you think about it. It'd be pretty cool. I like it. Me doing kung fu all around China, and also more information on what's next for Beaten Path. All right, so it's Beaten Path. What else? Yeah. So for Zero Mass Water, for you guys who don't know, I do some work with a company called Zero Mass. They're a company that makes solar panels that make drinking water out of thin air like magic. and I work them very closely. The CEO is a really, really good friend of mine. It's a great team based out in Scottsdale, Arizona, and make a great, just an amazing, world-changing device called the Source Panel. So if you see me tweeting about that a lot, or maybe Instagramming about it a lot, it's because it's something that's very dope to me. It's very dear to me. I'm an investor. I also work for the company, and it's zero mass water, and it's basically just a solar panel that makes drinking water. It's that simple. If you feel like you need that in your life, it takes you off of the grid. You ain't got to worry about your drinking water ever. No more. It's done. It pulls it directly out the air. There's no wells. There's no holes being dug. There's no filtration. There's none of that. It's the technology in the panel literally just pulls the water out of the air, condenses it, and delivers it to you. So if you're interested in that and what you can do with zero mass source panels for yourself, or there's tons of applications for it. For a lot of the kind of water crises that are going on around the world right now, and we're in tune with that. So we're in tune with what's going on in Puerto Rico, we're in tune with what's going on in Haiti, we're in tune with what's going down in South Africa. So if you want to get more information about how you can be a part of this zero mass water movement to kind of alleviate some of those issues, because we do have a technology that is solving that currently right now all around the world, go to zeromasswater.com. You can get all the see the frequently asked questions, figure out if you want to buy a panel for yourself, or if you want to just get in tune with what we're doing and kind of be an advocate for what we're doing, wherever you are, whether you're in Flint, you're in Chicago, you live in the desert, you're on the Indian reservation, you're in the outback in Australia, you're in South Africa, wherever you are, and you have an issue with drinking water, zero mass is a potential solution for you and your folks and your people. So go to zeromasswater.com. And get all the information on that. Lupe approved. Okay, so about the album, about Waves, what I want to reiterate to folks about the album and updates about the album. You can go to my Reddit page. There's a Lupe Fiasco Reddit section. Where I post specifically about Wave. My screen name is Yo Boss Will Hear of This. So that's me. It's official. It's certified. And I only talk about the Wave album there. So I don't talk about it on Instagram. I don't talk about it on Twitter. Simply because there's so much stuff going on and so much stuff that I'm doing that I want to kind of keep everything kind of in its own place. So I've decided to just talk about Wave until it comes out. And maybe I'll do interviews about it. Maybe I won't. But I'm definitely currently talking about it over at the Reddit. And if you're not familiar with Reddit, it's basically just a message board that talk about all type of crazy stuff, and they got all type of different sections. So it's an amazing place for what it is. And so if you want to get more information specifically about Wave, the album, I mean, if you want to talk about the cool and lasers and how much you hate it or how much you love it or whatever, just send your random shots, on Twitter or on whatever message board that you love to be on. But if you're just interested solely on the next album, which is Wave, and that includes release dates, who's on it, features, the whole shebang, at this point and where we are in the process of getting it out, you can go to my Reddit. So it's a Lupe Fiasco section on Reddit.com. And it's called the Wavelength, and I just every now and again I'll just kind of, you ain't got to check it every day because I don't post every day, but every once in a while I'll throw up some information about the album, which you may find interesting or you may not, but I mean that's what it's there for. So not trying to keep the album secret or play games with y'all or anything like that, but just trying to keep it focused in one place, and so we do that at the Reddit. Okay, so if you're interested about Wave, the album is coming out. We're still finishing it. You can get all your information updates at Reddit and leave your comments, fan theories, hatred, whatever. You just dump it down in the Reddit, and I'll see it. And it's just easier there as opposed to going on Twitter because there's so much stuff going on. Cool. All right, so that's Wave. Next, I just want to send send a couple shout outs and bring you up to date on a couple of my homies and their projects. Royce, my homeboy Royce the 5'9", and the legendary DJ Premier have their album Prime 2, which comes out actually tomorrow. So that's the Reddit. I'm sorry if it's, oh man, I missed it. It's reddit.com/ I think Lupe Fiasco, REDDIT / Lupe Fiasco. And you go in there and make an account, or if you already have an account, you know, which probably something you do, there's a Lupe Fiasco section, and I post there under Yo Boss Will Hear of This. And I'll only talk about the Wave album. But anyway, back to it. My homeboy Royce the 5'9" and DJ Premier, Prime 2 album is coming out tomorrow. So if you're a fan of amazing lyrics and dope beats, and just an all-around good person and a good guy, make sure you check out Prime 2, which is coming out tomorrow. So actually tonight. It's probably already out in some places, but make sure you get that. Another shout out to my homie over at Fake Shore Drive, and his some person he works with very closely who's a Chi-Town native. His name is Valet. He just signed to Good Music. He has a mixtape that came out I think like a week or so ago called Good Job You Found Me. It's like an EP. Make sure you check that out. He's pretty dope. So shout out to my homies over at Fake Shore, and shout out to Valet, Chi-Town, doing this thing. Really, I'm a big fan of it. So that is out. It's called Good Job You Found Me. That's out now. And then on the flip side, more on the tour side, my homeboy and my bro, Ty Dolla $ign, is on his Don't Judge. I think it's Don't Judge Me tour. And if you want information about that, he's doing that right now. You go to dollarsignworld.com and get information about his tour and what he's doing. So, you know, that covers that. Want to send a shout out to my homeboy Vlad. Vlad, notoriously where people go to snitch all over themselves. No, I'm just joking. That's a joke. I joke a lot. That's a joke. But shout out to Vlad. Always been a fan of him and what he does and how he gets down. And he's one of the big homies. So shout out to him. No disrespect, but I'll never do your show. Well, maybe. We'll talk about it later. We'll see. But shout out to Vlad. And then I want to do something super special for one of my big fans, one of my biggest fans. I normally don't do political endorsements, but I will do a political endorsement right now. And I want to send, but not in the way you think, I want to send a big shout out and my endorsement for Natalie Jefferson, who is running for, I think, student Oh snap, sorry, my phone almost died, so it just like froze. So I apologize for that. I had to charge my phone real quick. But anyway, as I was saying, where did I leave off? So about Natalie, yes. So Natalie Jefferson is running for student body vice president at San Juan Hills High School in San Juan Capistrano, California. if you go to San Juan Hills High School in San Juan Capistrano, California, make sure that you vote for Natalie Jefferson for student body vice president. If I went there, I would be voting for her. She's an amazing person, only simply because she's a Lupe Fiasco fan. And you know, if you're a Lupe Fiasco fan, then you are already an amazing person, and that you are overqualified for the job, right? So if you're interested on her points of view, or you just want to show her some love, you can hit up her official campaign account. It is Natalie for Vice 21 at Instagram. Natalie for Vice 21 at Instagram, and you can check out what she's into and what she's trying to do. So yes, Natalie for Vice Prez. Shout out to all of my homies out there in the Illuminati who asked me to make that happen for Natalie. So I hope that works out, and I hope you get what you want, my dear. And I think that is it for now. There's more stuff that is coming up, and as we get more information, I'll try and do more of these specifically to keep all of the Lupe Fiasco fans that are interested in what I'm doing, where I am, and what's going on. So everybody's like on the same page, right? And so you know what I'm doing when this concert's coming up, or what's going on with the album, etc., 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 etc. So anybody want to do super facts really quickly? Man, people are mean on the gram comments, man. So mean. Yes, no, maybe so. And just an update, because I keep running into folks who haven't noticed that I've grown dreadlocks, like 2 or 3 feet of dreadlocks. Yes, I've grown dreadlocks. It's not me, it's you. That just shows that you haven't been following me or watching my videos. So just pretend like you knew that I had dreadlocks, okay? If I see you in the streets, you're like, hey, Lupe, I didn't know you had dreadlocks. That just lets me know that you haven't been watching what I was doing for like 6 years, because I've had dreadlocks for at least 5 years. So anybody want to do a super fact? Or if not, I'm finna jump up off of this and do some other situations. Yeah. When am I coming to Dubai? I was supposed to do a club date in Dubai a couple weeks ago, but it got postponed because it was too short notice. So Dubai is definitely on the radar. So just like, again, stay tuned, lupefiasco.com for all of that good stuff. Super facts about all the smart home technology. I feel the last 2 years or so have been crazy. Okay, we'll talk about that. The smart homes, because I actually know somebody who was part of that whole situation. What else? Shout out to my big bro. Nope, I'm not doing no super facts on Blanca. No. Shout out to all the Sosa ITs and apprentices who are tuned in. How's the readings coming along? Very difficult this season, ain't they? Yeah, I know. It only gets more difficult. You look old as hell. We'll do super facts about that. How old I look. That's cool. Address that, because that comes up a lot. What else? Super facts on your F40. Oh man, I'm getting rid of my Ferraris. Some things that gotta go. Black Panther's opinion. Yeah, we can talk about Black Panther. It's been some time. Time has passed. I think everybody's seen the film. And we'll do one more super facts, and then I'll jump into the super facts, and then I'm gonna get up out of here. None of your business, Priscilla. Swords, super fact on swords. Yeah, we'll do a super fact on swords because that's actually quaint because I have something very special. All right, cool. So let's get into this super facts. I'm sure that this will be up and posted. So if you missed anything that I said earlier, it's Lupe Fiasco concert season. I got shows coming up in Honolulu, Hawaii, March 24th. San Juan, Puerto Rico, March 18th. I'll be in Lynchburg, VA, March 30th, and Asheville, North Carolina, March 31st. That's just for March. There are shows coming up in April, but I'll do that when they actually get posted up, okay? And if you want more information on how to get tickets, go to lupefiasco.com. Also, check out zeromasswater.com. Royce the 5'9" and DJ Premier's Prime 2 comes out tomorrow. Ty Dolla $ign is on tour right now. It's the Don't Judge Me tour. You can get tickets and information at dollasignworld.com. Make sure you get that new Valet mixtape. It's on Good Music. It's a good job you found me. Shout out to all my homies over at Fake Shore, and as well as to the homie Valet. Much success to you in your new career. And make sure you vote for Natalie Jefferson at San Juan Hills High School in San Juan Capistrano, California. You feel me? Voting for she's running for student body vice president. And if you want more information on how she's doing, what her campaign is, you go to Natalie for Vice 21 on Instagram and here on the gram. And get tuned in with her and what she's doing. All right, so let's get into these super facts. We're gonna try to make these quick. We're gonna try to make these real quick. So first, let's talk about how old I look. Right. So I do look old. I must admit. I mean, I've led a stressful life. I've done a lot of things, from the streets to the beats, to the deep thinking, to everything that you can think of. And you get some wear and tear. It just happens. If you're 22, if you're 18, if you're 17, or if you're in your 20s or early 30s, trust me, you're gonna start looking like this too. And there's some people who you can't tell because they have this much makeup on their face, like that thick, and you just can't tell that they're like aging or they dye their hair. I just don't dye my hair. But also with that said, I've had gray hair since I was 11 years old. It just never. I always cut my hair, so I never had my hair was always cut, so you never seen it grow in. But this gray hair right here has like always been here. You just see it now. But yes, you do get old. If you're a human being, you're gonna get old, and that's just what's gonna happen. And that's even worse from doing shows. My hip is messed up, and my teeth are right there. That's from the chips right there. That's from like hitting yourself in the mouth with the microphone, called microphone teeth. You get some wear and tear on you. Some people like to hide it. You know, some people like me just really don't care. So yes, I look old, I get old. But I'm also grimy today, and I'll get a haircut and get shaped up and clean for the tour. So yes, that's that super facts. You will get old as hell. And the older you get, the older you get. Duh. With your dumb ass. But seriously, so that's that. The next super fact was smart homes. Smart homes. So, for some of y'all who don't know, and to kind of keep reiterating this, and I'm no genius by any means, even though I wear glasses, but I'm going to take my glasses off just so, no, I'm not, because my eyes squinty. Right? For y'all geniuses that don't know about these smart home technologies and some of this stuff, some of that stuff, it's a double-edged sword, right? And I'll take it back to something that you probably didn't even know. Prior to things like Alexa or like Apple, Apple's coming out with something new that's like the same thing as like Alexa. But there's something that's been in your house that's been collecting information on you for a long time. And it's probably something that you never thought it was. And it's your cable box. So for some of y'all that don't know, your cable box, and you might be able to test it. If you on the West Coast and you got one of those, I think it is Comcast, and you got one of those Scientific American cable boxes, one of them big gray ones, there's a sensor, I think, let me not push a conspiracy theory, but there's cable boxes that have like cameras in them, and the cameras, they monitor like the who's in the room, and they really do it by height. And it's really like a parent. It's like a safety. It's like a sensor safety. So it's like porn on cable. So they try and get it where kids don't watch porn, and the way they can lock it is by like the cable box can see who's sitting or standing in front of the cable box, and by the height of the person, it'll block or restrict like certain channels. So you know how you got that thing on your cable if you want to order like a porn, and you know what I'm talking about. If you wanted to order some porn like on demand, and you have to put in that code, there's another way around that, and I don't know how activated it is, but sometimes if your cable box is on, and say it's in the middle of the night, TV's not on, and you stand up, you'll hear your cable box kind of spool up or turn on, right? And that's probably because it's watching you, to be honest. But anyway, what does that mean, right? So I don't think it's nefarious, and I definitely don't think it's as sophisticated as like something like Alexa or Amazon is doing, but it's a double-edged sword. So one is to make your life more easy, right? And to do things that are like cool, to turn on the TV for you, to like whatever. But at the same time too, it's collecting data. It's constantly collecting your data. And one of the things that is big now, I do a lot of nerdy stuff when I'm not doing this rap stuff, when I'm not Lupe, watching this MIT, it's called Intelligence Quest summit that they did not too long ago, actually March 9th, so a couple days ago, and they're talking about artificial intelligence and how to train AIs and do all this other stuff, and they're saying that now they're able to pull in all of this data because they have all these new sources of data, and one of the sources that they're talking about is all this in-home data collection. So on your personal life, how you move around your house, the things that you talk about, and if you know it or not, Alexa is always listening, and kind of always watching. So I know certain people that are like super heavy into tech, like venture capitalists and stuff like that. For y'all don't know, I run a venture capitalist thing too as well with my friend Diane Osner. But anyway, so I meet a lot of different people from the tech world, and they talk about certain things. And there's big tech people who don't have these things in their house because they know what it actually is doing. They want the privacy, and they can't really control it. So it's pulling all of their data out, and it's going somewhere. I mean, it's going to Amazon servers and their kind of AI training things, and research centers, like stuff that's at MIT. And it's Siri, it's anything, it's smartwatches, it's anything that is constantly communicating with another source somewhere else. So whether it's your phone, your TV, your cable box, anything, right? Anything that's tapped into a network is constantly pulling data. And the reason that they're pulling, even your Google searches, so even if you just go to the library and you don't have a computer in your house and you tap in something, I mean, you have a ID tag, a digital ID tag, even if it's just for that particular, instance, where you're being tracked the whole time that you're on that, and they're looking at what you're doing. In terms of your searches, how many times you click, how many times you scroll down the screen, like all this metadata is what they call it, is being pulled in, is being used for something. Some of the stuff is useless, and there's no, I want to say it has no utility now, like at the moment, but it could potentially be used later. So it may not mean anything to track how many times you move in and out of a room in your house, because Alexa can kind of track the volume of your conversation or whatever, and judge the distances between different things, or like something like Nest. That if y'all don't know what Nest is, it's the thermostat system. You may not think that there's anything important with the data of how you set your air conditioning or your fan or your heating system in your house. And then what parts of the house that you heat and what parts you don't. You may not think that there's anything interesting about that, but there's people who are super smart, super interested in all these infinitesimal type pieces of data, because it all references back to human behavior. And there's a whole industry of research institutes and schools and different programs and independent science firms and companies that are all interested in building artificial intelligence and machine learning, and they're using all of that data, even the most basic data or things that we think that are unnecessary or unimportant, to train these AIs. to train these programs and train these systems. And trust me, they don't necessarily need everybody, but there's enough of just random. There's enough people plugged into the networks. Like there's enough people on Amazon, enough people on Twitter, enough people who have cable boxes, enough people who have iPhones, where they don't need to get everybody to get a real good picture of what basic human interaction is on a daily basis. So even if you're not opt-in, even if you personally say, I'm not a part of that, I'm not going to have Alexa in my house, I don't want a smart home, you know, I don't want a smartphone, I don't want a smart car, I don't want this, I want that. It doesn't matter. Because it's already, there's the person next to you who does, who has all of that. And there's enough of data coming in from them to speak for you. And then whether you think you're not, anytime you interact with anything electronic, you're being tracked and your data is being pulled in and is being stored somewhere. So I have a friend who's, well, kind of an acquaintance who's in the tech space who refuses to have Alexa in his house, period. Simply because he's like, all this data is going back to Amazon. You don't know what they're using it for. You don't know what they're doing. And it's not like it's scroll data like you're scrolling the screen to go up and down. It's like your personal conversations in your house. Right? So that's that about smart homes and what I think about that. What I personally think about it, I mean, to each his own. I don't really mind AIs. I think they're pretty cool. And I think that they can benefit society, in certain ways. And I think it's something that we can't stop. I think once you turn off your TV and you think that, I'm not going to worry about it, that still doesn't stop it. I mean, this is something that happens 24 hours a day all over the world. There's AI farms in every country all around the world, especially in places like China and all these different countries that are solely dedicated on developing AI systems. So, you know, just because you might think, I'm living off the grid and such, and I don't have an iPhone, I have a Samsung or whatever. I mean, your data is still being collected, tracked, and then being used to train artificial intelligence machines and software and algorithms and stuff like that. And some of it could be pretty cool. Like it could hopefully lead to like better medicine, better ways to teach actual flesh and blood human beings. And there's all type of other, you know, applications potentially for it. So it's not all good, it's not all bad. You can't stop it. So you either got to kind of deal with it or just be a little bitch about it. But either way, that's on you. Yeah, let's talk about Black Panther. Yay! And we'll try and get through this really quickly. So thoughts on Black Panther, the film, super facts. I've had many conversations with people about Black Panther. And the implications of it as a film, just as a movie in and of itself, and what it's doing as a film. It's becoming one of the highest grossing films of all time, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And then as a kind of a cultural product, like what does it mean for culture, for black people, for white people, for, you know, mixing of cultures, for all of that stuff. What does it mean like as an art? You know, like, you know, just how good of it is as a, you know, a piece of work. You know, is it engaging? Is the acting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I mean, I've had conversations with people from super political to kind of the, you know, maybe not so much on the artistic, but close to the artistic, just as a pure film conversation. How does it stand up as a film? If you compared it to something like Akira Kurosawa, you know, Yojimbo or something like that, just classic film. How does it compare to that, right? And for me, I mean, I like Black Panther. I don't necessarily like film too much these days, simply because I think I'm of a generation. I'm 36, so I was born in '82. And I've been able to see films be redone, like entire genres or themes of films be redone. So I was there for like the original Ghostbusters and then the Ghostbusters reboot, right? And then you get to see like all the whole cycle take place, right? And you know, trends shift. You know, technology gets better. In terms of shooting a film, and sometimes the CG effects are pretty cool and sometimes it's not real. So it's a difference where a period of time where there was no special effects and everything had to be in the camera versus now where everything's not even on set. I mean, everything's kind of shot in like a green room or something like that, and everything's added in later, so nothing is real. I got a chance to really see that when I was doing music for Twilight, and we got to see a version of the film before it was special effects put in, and it looked fucking crazy because none of it was real. The high school wasn't real, so this whole building, which was like, why would that be fake? That whole building was fake. The way they were, it was fucking nutty. And I was like, wow. And then you fast forward today now, like things like Star Wars, where there's I'm rambling, but anyway, things like Star Wars where some of the characters aren't even real people, but they're based on real people. Like that's not really Harrison Ford. That's a CG model of Harrison Ford's face. So it's like when you watch Star Wars, it's not even, it's him, but it's not him. That's just fucking weird to me. So I mean, as a film, in relationship to all other film today. As of today, I don't really like any movies today, simply because I'm just weird about that. So I mean, it still falls into that category as just being like an okay film. You know, I don't think that the acting was like super amazing, but for various reasons. Because one, I don't think we're used to seeing black people on screen that much, and so when we do see a movie that's all black folks, for me specifically, there's a bias because I'm used to, you know, my bar of great acting has always been based on white people. And that's not anything racist or trying to, you know, point fingers. It's just the truth of it. Like I'm used to, when you ask me who's my favorite actors, it's like, oh, Robert De Niro, or Al Pacino, all this. So I'll measure everybody or Leo DiCaprio based on that. Of course, Denzel was one of the greatest, but still, you still base it on that. And you're like, oh man, I'm waiting for that type of thing, but it doesn't come out. But the acting was still good. I really liked the General Okoye was super dope. I think that the women in the movie kind of took the shine from everybody else. But I still think it was balanced. But then also I think there was some things about the movie which could have been better, but couldn't have been better. Like, I would have loved to have seen Chiwetel Ejiofor in the film. I would have loved to have seen like Idris Elba in the film, but they couldn't have been in the film, not because they were unable, or like it was because they're already in other Marvel franchises. So when you think of like really great African American or African actors who you would have loved to have seen just kind of like kill like Black Panther, and you know, two that stand out are definitely Chiwetel Ejiofor and Idris Elba. They couldn't have been in Black Panther because they were already in other movies, right? And that was kind of like, fuck, like damn, that would have been dope to see, you know, Idris as, you know, one of the kings, or to see Chiwetel even as Black Panther would have probably been crazy, right? But he's in Doctor Strange, so it's like he can't be in it because it would go against the Marvel universe. And then the same thing with Idris, he's in Thor. So he can't play in, maybe they do a crossover later, but I felt that was kind of funky. But there's nothing you can do about that. And then you also don't know who actually tried out for the movie but didn't get casted for whatever reason, and that's a whole nother thing, because people might have had different projects at different times, or working on different things. Like you would have loved to have seen like Will Smith, right, in Black Panther, but he's like in the DC universe, like on Suicide Squad. So was there something like he can't be in the Marvel films for whatever reason, blah, 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 right? But I think they did really, really good with who they cast. And I think they cast it for like a reason. Like it was like, we need fresh faces that people know. So you have the homeboy from Get Out. You got Lupita. And you got a couple other folks that you see. You got Michael B. Jordan, of course. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. And you can kind of see that. And you still kind of like, I mean, they're really solid performances, but it's like, man, I would love to have just seen like, you know, Morgan Freeman. I would love to just see the whole thing, but you can't really stack a movie like that. Not because not simply because sometimes schedules don't match up and people have other shit to do, right? So, as a political thing, Black Panther, I mean, there's two sides to that. I mean, there's the people who felt that it didn't go political enough, and there was people who at the same time didn't really see some of the things that the movie was addressing politically for whatever reason, and then there was people who saw exactly what it was, right? I mean, so there was some people that I talked to felt that it was kind of a cop-out, because they were more in the mind of like Killmonger, where it was like, yo, give the Wakanda war dogs the weapons and let them take over the world, because that's what really runs shit, right? And then there were people who were on, Black Panther side, where it was like, no, let's just start to buy the block, so to speak, or speak through economics, or speak through science, or speak through cooperation, and kind of, not necessarily rule, but at least get some parity in that space. And I think it's just a difference of opinion. But I think it does fall on two things that I've always been taught from the people who I grew up with, who raised me up in the streets. And it was like, people at the end of the day respect two things. They respect money, and they respect ass whoopings. And that's it. Everything else in between is just a fudging of the two. But for the most part, people respect money, or they respect ass whoopings, right? And so you have Killmonger, who's like, let's whoop their ass. And he would have got respect, and he would have actually had some, he would have probably had some real, until Thor came and killed everybody. But on the flip-flop, also people respect money, but also money is influence and soft power and all these other things, and resources and resource management, which is what kind of Black Panther was pushing. So politically, I mean, you had both of the options there, and I think they were both viable. But I think in terms of the film and how it had to play out, you kind of it had to still speak to something that was a little bit more nonviolent, as opposed to something that was a little bit more, solving things through violence. So I'm not mad at that either, because I speak that too. I think if there's a way to solve the thing without whooping ass and without resorting to violence, then so be it. But also being prepared. So I mean, the Wakandas weren't weak, and they actually showed that they had military teeth, and that they were willing and able to fight. But at the end of the day, that's not always the necessary solution to the problem, right? I also like how it showed like divisions, that there's divisions in the community, but even with those divisions, there's still cooperation, and people willing to work. So I think it spoke to a lot of like gang culture in certain aspects, where you had the different tribes, but they all kind of respected each other, respected a rule set that was bigger than all of them. And that that you had fractions, and you had people who fought against each other, but at the end of the day, there was still the possibility for collaboration. So I think that was one of the kind of political lessons from the film that people may or may not have picked up on. And one of the metaphors that I really liked, and we'll get up out of here after this, one of the metaphors that I really liked was the metaphor of Wakanda itself, not being a real place, but at the same time being a real place. So it's kind of like, not oxymoron, like this paradox. But, Wakanda is as I took it, was Wakanda is a place that's inside of you. And it's that choice that you choose to make. Do you choose to rule your inner Wakanda like Killmonger? Or do you choose to rule your inner Wakanda like, Black Panther? And then that articulates and dictates how you move through the world, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of dope lessons in the film if you choose to look at it deeply, and treat it and really look at all of the things that were put into the film. So, big shout out to the script writers and the constraints and the limitations that they had to work through by balancing a Marvel film also with something that's like extremely powerful and extremely interesting. But if you're and giving you the opportunity to put that stuff in there, that if you wanted to break it down, that it's there to be broken down. And just if you choose to do that. So I think that was dope. I think that the movie was for kids overall, but I also think that it was for adults in terms of if you wanted to look at it really deeply and check out some of the deep structures that were happening in the film. But overall, I think it was a movie for kids, and that's what's dope, because it's cool to see. It's cool for young black kids, and also it's cool for young white kids to see 60-foot black people on screen. The same way that it's black kids and white kids have seen 60-foot white people on screen. I think that there's something dope about that culturally, where we start to see that there's potential for power and hero in everybody. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I can't be mad at that. You know, to be mad at that, I'd be like a little bitch, right? So I think that's cool for everybody to be able to see, you know, 60-foot black people doing heroic, dope shit on a screen is fucking cool, no matter what age or race or where you're from. Because I think it's cool to see 60-foot Chinese people or 60-foot Japanese people or 60-foot Australian people on screen, just because it's dope, especially when the message is positive. So I love that. My only takeaway from the film: if no one cares, Jenny, then why the fuck are you here? I just had to clap back at Jenny just a little bit. But the one thing that I hated about the film was the fight scenes. I felt that the fight scenes were a little weak, and especially when you look at like Thor, the Ragnarok, where the fight scenes were dope as fuck, and like just they were what they were. I mean, I felt that was dope as fuck. I felt like, you know, Wakanda, the fight scenes, you had the opportunity to build, because there's no like stereotype for what those fight scenes are. They could have been any and everything, but for them to kind of just be watered down, weird wrestling / kung fu, jujitsu, it was just really fun. It was really weird. I think that the fight scenes could have been just a little bit better. Simply because I do martial arts, and I watch a lot of kung fu movies and fight scenes and action movies and all of that. So I think that the next one they could do a little bit better in terms of the choreography for the fight scenes. That was my only kind of thing. And so that's me on Black Panther. I liked it as a film in relationship to other films, and just how I feel about films in general today. I mean, I don't really score it that high as a film, but I think that's because of all the reasons that I said before. But as a cultural product and influencing culture, if you choose to think about it deeply like that, I give it like an A- in essence. I think it has a lot of deep lessons in it, and it's really cool, and it's delivered in a very tangible, cogent way, but still leaves a little bit of discovery if you choose to analyze it that deeply. So, and swords, super facts about swords, yay! So I got another sword. Would you like to see it? Hold up, let me go get it. Watch this. Check this out. Check this out, son. I'm gonna show y'all my swords, B. Check out. Hold up. Be right back. Behold! Behold, little bitch. Look at this motherfucker right here, Jack. Look at this sword. Look how long this is. Bro, look at this bitch. So yeah, I want it for y'all to know. Y'all always see me with like the samurai swords, right? And look at this bitch, Billy. I'm gonna chop a nigga's head off with this. No, so this is a dull sword. But anyway, y'all always see me with the samurai swords, and you know, samurai swords are cool. But then I started to get into, you know, what outside of samurai swords. And I let go of my hatred of European colonialism. And I was like, you know what? Let bygones be bygones. I'm going to give me a King Arthur sword. And so that's what I went and got, right? And this was actually the second one that I bought because it was dull. I'll show you the first one. I'll show you the difference. Hold on. Hold up. Boom, bitch. Look at this. Look at this, bitch. Ooh. Yeah. So I bought this one first, but I kind of messed up because this one is sharp as hell. And I was like, I don't want to cut myself, but I will poke a bitch right in the eye. But nah, so I bought this one first, and this was actually really cool. It actually handles really well, right? But it's too sharp. Like it has a really sharp edge, and I was like, I'm gonna cut myself, and I didn't want to do that because I just wanted to mess around with it. So I bought this one, which is dull. Sorry. So you see, it ain't got no tip on it. It's kind of like rounded, so I don't poke myself. But I can still do all these dope ass Highlander and Berserk and Conan the Barbarian moves with this bitch. And actually, one of the reasons that I bought this sword, or start getting into these swords, is I was watching Thor and I saw Idris Elba. And if y'all haven't seen Ragnarok, Idris Elba is like a knight, and he has this big ass sword that he was fighting with. And I thought the shit was just cool, so I was like, I'm going to get one of them. And then I saw Berserk. I started watching Berserk again with the new versions of Berserk, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a sword like Guts. And so now I'm into these long ass European swords, in addition to my Japanese swords. So I'm still into that. So if you like swords, don't just settle on Japanese swords or Chinese swords. I mean, the European swords are dope too. We're gonna show them some love. Start the chopping and hacking shit. Hack a bitch. You feel me? So that's my super facts on swords. If you like swords, and these are Hanwei swords. What's going on with this? Alright, there we go. Yeah, so these are Kaz Hanwei swords. So if you're interested, CAS Hanwei, this is called the long sword. The Hanwei long sword. You can get that. And then the other one is super sharp. So buy at your own risk. And that's that. Alright, so that's been Super Facts with by the power of Grayskull in this hoe. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope it's been informative. And we'll be doing another one soon. If you're interested in hearing what I think and my opinion on things, hit me in my DMs. And let me know about a super fact, and I'll try and talk about it from time to time. I'm finna get really busy over the next month and a half, so I can't promise you when I'll do it, but I will do my best. And if you send it, I will try and answer it as long as it's not stupid. But even if it's stupid, you never know. So by the power of Grayskull, I knight ye super fact of the superfactious. Peace and much love to you. Alright, Billy Blue, what up, bro? I see you. Shout out to Lloyd. Shout out to all my homies. Y'all be good to each other. And Con. Peace.